Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, happy Monday to all of you. I hope that you all had a very good Easter Sunday, all right, if you celebrate Easter. And if you did not, I hope you guys had a good Sunday and weekend as well, all right. Let me go ahead and start off real quick before I do my shout outs by saying thank you to everyone who participated in Sunday's video that I put out. I wasn't intending on putting out a video on Sunday, but I think that it was important enough for me to go ahead and do that. And thank you to everyone for your participation and all of your recommendations. I think we've got it figured out, and I think this person is going to give it another try and see what happens. But I think we figured it out for him, all right? I think what was going on is that the pressure he was using was not sufficient for the altitude in which he lives. Okay, so we're gonna see. I told him to keep me updated and do a small batch and wait a month or two, try it, and then wait another month or two and try it again, and then he can commence and start doing bigger batches. Okay, so thank you everyone for that. First, let's go ahead and start it off real quick by saying a big thank you to Dr. Kit, to Marie, to Lori, and Ralphine. Thank you guys very much for sending me over a coffee. All right, so thank you guys again. I truly do appreciate your support in any way and every way that you do support the community. All right, so thank you guys. I wanted to go ahead and continue to call out the last two recipients, all right? Recipients, winners, whatever you may want to call it, of the pressure canner, all right, that we gave away. I just checked my account, and every single prize that was ordered has been delivered and is now in the hands of the recipient. All right, so that is a good thing. We have one left for Rebecca Vinson and for Melody Tanish. All right, so Rebecca and Melody, if you see this video, please send me an email with your information. You are the winner of a T-Fall pressure canner, and I would love nothing more than to send it to you guys. Okay, so if you see this video, please send me an email. You have until the end of the month of April, all right, of 2019, to go ahead and send me your information so that I can order for you. Once that time passes, I will go ahead and give it away, give these two pressure cookers away during one of our live chats. All right, so that I can have a guarantee that someone is going to contact me immediately. All right, so again, Rebecca Vincent and Melody Tanish. All right, please contact me as soon as you see this video, or get word from maybe one of the other community members that you are the winner of a pressure canner. Okay, so please contact me. All right, let's go ahead and get to the video for today. All right, I thought this is a very interesting article. Okay, and I've gone over the world debt and all that kind of stuff before, but this is a pretty interesting article that kind of covers what I'm doing. Okay, and as you all know, I'm not a financial analyst or financial advisor. Well, I guess I am a financial analyst, even though I call myself a layman economist. All right, but I'm not a financial advisor. So I read this article and I was like, wow, this is kind of like what I do. So I thought I'd read it to you guys, and you guys can make up your own minds. Leave comments, obviously, if you like. And I just thought it was very interesting. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. It's not a long article. Okay, so so bear with me here. And the title is The Cataclysmic $243 trillion global debt bomb will explode, impoverishing everyone. And it's probably a little more than 243 trillion, ladies and gentlemen. This is just pure debt. Okay, if we talk about derivatives throughout the world right now, there's estimated to be at a very minimum $500 trillion in derivatives above and beyond the debt, all right? And as much as several quadrillion dollars in derivatives. Okay, so just wrap your head around that number. Quadrillion, all right? Between 1 and 2 quadrillion. I think it's like 1.6, 1.7 quadrillion dollar in derivatives on top of just the debt, all right? And this debt, I do believe that the world's gross domestic product for the world is like between 75 and 80 trillion dollars. So we're looking at, as a world, we have a debt of more than 3 times of the GDP. Okay, so let's continue. And that's pretty much what it looks like right now. Although I think if you look at this picture, I think that the spark is probably closer to around here. All right, but that's my opinion. Okay, so here we go. Once the global debt bomb explodes, there won't be much left over for anyone, or left for anyone. Governments will fail, individuals will be impoverished, and businesses will implode. The elitists in power have tried to keep everyone in the dark, but maybe there's an answer to this devastation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me stop right there. I want to go over who are these elitists, all right? Every time that you ask someone something about this, about the debt, about central banks, about crony capitalism and things like that, I always hear people say, well, it's the elite. It's the elite. Well, who is the elite? I have no idea. But ask yourself this question. I actually did a search of this, and I don't have it here, all right? But because it was not today, it was a while back. But I did a search of all of the countries in the world, and every country that I searched for has a debt, all right? So every country has a debt. Now, my question is this. If debt is a zero-sum game, and what I mean by that is if I owe you $50, then you are owed $50, right? It's a zero-sum game. Once I give you the $50, we're back to zero, right? So if debt is a zero-sum game, who is it that all these countries owe money to? If every country owes money to someone, who do they owe the money to? Because you would think that if country A owed country B $1 billion, once country A pays country B that $1 billion, they're back to zero. But how is it that every country owes money? Who do they owe it to? I don't know. But maybe that's who they're talking about when they say elites. All right. But I have no idea. Leave me your thoughts. Who is it that these countries owe money to? Because if every country owes money to someone, who is it that they owe it to? Okay. All right. Now here it says global debt now stands at a terrifying $243 trillion, according to a report by the Institute of International Finance this week. That's a quarter of a quadrillion. We are in the realms of the absurd and the unsustainable. That's money that will never be repaid. The debt-based system is irrevocably broken and is still propped up by the lies told by central bankers and governments in order to remain in positions of power over others. The record debt figure stands at 3 times the world's gross domestic product. In other words, it's 3 times larger than the value of all products and services on the planet, which is produced in 1 year. All right, that's what gross domestic product is. It's what's produced in 1 year. And the United States is contributing massively to this problem, propping up a debt bubble that will crush everyone when it finally bursts. It's pretty safe to say that if you aren't concerned, you simply aren't paying attention and will be hurt when it all collapses. An irresponsible monetary system addicted to printing money and issuing credit is destroying the standard of living almost everywhere on the planet. It's time to admit that we, as human beings, need a new alternative to the control and wealth wealth distribution, theft, and slavery that's overtaken humanity. And one website dares to say that while it's far from perfect, Bitcoin offers a viable solution with its fixed supply. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't click off, all right? This is not a pro Bitcoin, pro cryptocurrency, pro anything, all right, article. And you'll see as I continue, okay? According to CNN, Bitcoin, the decentralized cryptocurrency, is a way out of the poorly designed monetary system forced down all of our throats by power-hungry psychopaths. I think I said CNN, it's CCN, okay? So it's according to CCN. When economic growth is insufficient, governments and companies borrow more money. But this is nothing more than a cycle of addiction, writes John Malden in Forbes. And this is what John Malden says out of Forbes. This is classic addiction behavior. You have to keep raising the dose to get the same high. Central banks enable debt because they think it will generate economic growth. Sometimes it does. The problem is they create debt with little regard of how it will be used. And this gentleman here writes, when the next global financial crisis occurs, the world realizes organizations with $20 trillion in debt can't possibly ever pay it back, and thus must print it instead, and thus fiat is doomed. Watch what happens to crypto. So this guy's saying here that once the monetary presses start turning at a faster rate, that cryptocurrencies are going to be used as a safe haven to store value. All right. And he continues, Bitcoin could be the answer to a fiat currency because there is a fixed amount. No one can magically print a Bitcoin out of thin air. And that's true, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that are not in the know about cryptocurrencies, it's true. The algorithm that is behind specifically Bitcoin only allows for a maximum of just shy, everyone says 21 million, but it's just shy of 21 million Bitcoins to be produced. All right. And I do believe that it won't be till the year 2100 and something until the very last Bitcoin can be produced, because the more Bitcoin that there are in circulation, or the closer it gets to the number 21 million, the more difficult that it will be to produce a Bitcoin, all right, using the mining algorithms and the mining equipment that they have now to produce the Bitcoin. All right. Let's see. Okay, in our current fiat system, central banks create money in a process called quantitative easing. The central banks issue new money and use it to buy bonds and assets. This has the effect of introducing more money into supply, lowering the purchasing power of your money, and encouraging low-cost lending. All right, I think I went over this a few videos back about how inflation is a symptom of quantitative easing, or in other words, money printing. All right, inflation is not what happens. It's not what is done. Inflation is actually a symptom of quantitative easing. Okay, and also inflation and prices, also to cover this, right, is not only is it a symptom of quantitative easing, but it's also a symptom of the economics in your local area or national area, or it could be the world, depending on what actual item is going up in price. But when everything is going up in price relatively, is usually a symptom of inflation, which is monetary printing. All right. And when you think of inflation, think of what's being inflated is the money supply. That is what's causing the inflation in the prices. All right. Because the more money there is floating around, the more money that there is chasing the same amount of goods. All right. The only concern with Bitcoin is that it only has value if someone wants it. And that's very true. It's a commodity. If there's any kind of ultimate cataclysmic event and no power grid to access your Bitcoin, it's going to be of no use. And that's true. Technically, it's not. Technically, you can actually trade a Bitcoin or a part of a Bitcoin, which is called a Satoshi. You can actually trade it from wallet to wallet, okay? But really, in order for you to get the maximum use out of it, you would have to be able to have power and the internet, okay? If the system collapses and people begin to starve, they can't eat a Bitcoin any more than they could eat a bar of gold. And this is what I like about this article, the next sentence. That is why diversification is key, and at a point far too many tend to overlook. And a point far too many tend to overlook. What he's saying here is that if you want to be protected, you don't put your eggs all of your eggs in one basket. Okay? So like, for example, I'll go ahead and do a disclaimer right now. I have a little bit of precious metals. I have a little bit of cash stashed in the house, and really not that much, but enough probably to get by for a couple of weeks. All right. I don't want to have enough cash stashed in the house to get by for 6 months, because I don't think I would be able to spend that in the first 2 weeks of a major crisis, because I think that after about a couple of weeks, maybe a month, people will start to realize that the value of fiat currency is really not what we've been told that it is, and we'll start turning away from it. Okay. If investing in cryptocurrency makes sense for you, consider also storing some extra food. And this is the other part that I really like about this article right here. They're not just trying to push one thing, okay? They're trying to tell you to diversify. And how do you diversify? By having items, by having goods that are tangible goods, by having food, all right? By having the first 3 B's of the 5 B's of prepping, all right? By having those things. And then if you still have additional wealth left over after you've covered the first 3 B's of prepping, and you want to put some of your wealth in a wealth preservation tool, then consider having a little bit of precious metals, all right? And then if you also want to take it a little further than that, then consider maybe opening up a cryptocurrency account and having just a little bit of cryptocurrencies set aside. Let's see. So consider also storing some extra food and maybe picking up some precious metals. It's almost impossible to tell what will happen exactly when the debt bubble explodes, and you may want to have several options at your disposal. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst. The more options you have in your arsenal, the better. All right, and that's the article, ladies and gentlemen. So I really like this article because this was not a cryptocurrency article. And this article covered cryptocurrencies, but it encourages people to diversify not only their wealth, but also diversify in other things like having food, having water. All right. And it encourages people to not put all of their eggs in one basket, which I think is a very good piece of advice. All right. Is don't put all of your eggs in one basket. All right. Like I said, I have a little bit of everything, but I don't have a lot of any one thing. All right. So I definitely, like, for example, let's say gold goes up to $50,000 an ounce tomorrow. Right. I don't have enough gold to become a millionaire. Right. But that's not why I get gold. I get gold so that I can have a little bit of wealth preserved. That way, after the SHTF is over, because ladies and gentlemen, SHTFs don't last forever, right? They don't last forever. If not, the world would be in constant chaos, right? So SHTFs don't last forever. So for the people that say you can't eat gold, yes, you're correct. You cannot eat gold. However, you can use it after whatever new monetary system has been stood up to start over again. Okay, and then also there's people that will say, well, the government can always restrict gold purchases or gold sales, or they can put a really large tax on gold and things like that. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, is that we don't know what's going to happen. That's why diversification is the key, in my opinion. Diversification is the key. But what are the things that you should be diversified in first? And this is my opinion. My opinion is that the things you have to take care of first and foremost are your biological needs. All right. And those are covered on the first and second B's of prepping. All right. Your biological needs include water, food, shelter, warmth, clothing. All right. They include medications, be it prescription or over the counter. They include Band-Aids. All right. They include antibacterial creams. Things that you use on a normal, everyday basis that you would miss if you were not able to get it again tomorrow. All right. So if I know that maybe once or twice a year or 3 times a year, however many times a year, I might need some antibacterial cream, I might want to have an extra tube or, an extra 1 or 2 tubes, just in case I were not able to get one for the next 3 years. Right? I may want to have an extra tube or 2. All right. Same thing with everything else that you use on a regular basis. Okay. And then, of course, the third B of prepping, I always say it's very important. However you do that, however you want to do it. All right. A way to defend yourself, your family, and your preps is also, in my opinion, very important. Because why spend all this time? Why spend all this money that you are putting into ensuring that you and your family have the things that you need should something happen, and not have a way to protect it? Okay, that's how I see the third B of prepping, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got a little something from this article, and I hope that it encourages you to go and do a little bit of research and take a look at your situation where you're at. And by no means would I ever advocate anyone getting any monetary I don't know, what do you call it, monetary vehicles or any monetary insurance unless you have your first 3 B's of prepping taken care of. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and call it good. Thank you very much for joining in today. Again, thank you very much for all of your input on yesterday's video. I mean, I was really, really impressed by how many of you were out there trying to help our community member out. All right. I may have some good news for you later on about that, but we're going to see how everything works out with this. All right. So again, thank you very much. As always, if this is the first time you've clicked on one of my videos, one of the Alaska Prepper videos, consider clicking the subscribe button. All right. We'd love to have you in our community. If you want to see what our community is like, just go to one of my previous videos, take a look at the chats and see how helpful, cooperative, and just old-fashioned nice everyone is to each other. All right. That's a big deal to me, of how civil everyone is to each other and how willing everyone is to help each other in our community. All right. So thank you very much for joining today. And also for those of you that are VIPs that come in here and click on my videos every time I put one up. Thank you very much, guys. You guys are the foundation of this community, and I do appreciate all of your support. All right. If you guys want to support the channel, just take a look at the description below. There's some links there, but the easiest way to support it is going to be to just give it a like.
Come on, dog. Let us go eat.
No. Okay, Victor's taking out the dog. Victor, go get the dog food. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I was at the easiest way to support the channel. Give it a like, comment. Please share this with someone you love. All right. Also, if you let an ad or 2 run through, that really helps a lot. And please use my Amazon link. Don't let these corporations get all of the money. If you use my Amazon link, I get a few pennies for every purchase you make, and it doesn't cost you anything else. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's close it off at that. I hope you guys have a great Monday today. All right. Great start of the week. My department today is actually having a really big inspection this week, or a big inspection of the year. I call it our Super Bowl. So I'll be pretty busy this week, but hopefully I'll still be able to put out, if not one video a day, maybe every other day this week. All right. So having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to every one of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.